Hello everyone, this is Irvin Mystique, and today I'm going to go over something that I and a friend of mine, someone who I'm mentoring, have been working on, or a topic that we've been working on today that I felt would be helpful to have online in general. So before I jump into that, let me pull out my good old trusty dusty notes so that way I don't go off topic. So before I go into that, I do want to make mention of, first off, this video is specifically about figuring out a way how to measure the energy workings within a space. Secondly, I want to tell you guys about where you can find me. I am, of course, here on YouTube. I'm on WordPress, and there is where I post a lot of my freebie materials for, let's say, if you want to do your own studies, do your own experiments, enhance your love life, or whatever. It's there. Next is Instagram. Instagram, I have very short, bite-sized variations of these longer videos, which I try to keep no longer than 15 minutes. Which I might even shorten that up to 7. So, and then I have Steemit, where I post some of my blog entries that are a little bit more in depth in how I perceive the world, and actually gives more case studies, so to speak, examples of some of the work that I do and how I perceive things happening within the work that I do, which I think would be very helpful to those of you who are trying to either practice magic, learn divination, or whatever. So with that being said, let's jump into the space and elements thing. So I'm not going to go into the details on elements. That's another video. But I am going to talk a little bit about how important it is to manage your energetic space. Now, when you share space, like I'm in a public space right now, there's nothing I can really do about that because I'm staying with my roommate, and until we move and start over, I can't really make the necessary boundaries, which will be helpful to both of us. So, when I first moved here, I actually have probably the worst energetic area or space of my room and of this apartment. What I ended up doing, to the benefit of myself and my roommate, I actually did a short dice reading or geomancy reading to figure out what were some of the energetic influences within this apartment. This area, when we first came in, was resonating with earth. My roommate's room was resonating with fire, and my room was resonating with water, or watery tendencies. On top of that, I was actually hearing all the spirits talk to me within my room, so that was also fun. So with that being said, some of the problems that we've had has also resonated with the elements. Particularly, my roommate has the fiery room. The water here busted a couple of times. Yeah, water heater busted. We've had, actually, now that I think about it, the air conditioning and heating unit is over here. So during the winter, that actually, I think there was something that went down that like was really hot, and it set off our fire alarms, and we couldn't figure out why or how until they came down here and did their thing. So these are just examples about how the readings from from a geomancy reading, as it pertains to your elemental, I guess you could say, elbow room in a space, actually does have implications. It seems like it doesn't, but it does. We ended up using this space as, I mean, even here, I have beautiful flowers sitting here as a gift from graduation. Even here, we usually primarily use this for earthy type things, for sitting our butts down and resting, for making food, for making, for me, I have a lot of flowers. I usually have flowers rotating in here. this space, specifically, in light of this, initially I had a red tablecloth here. So even down to colors, I was using colors to help pull some of the energies within a space in a more balanced way. So the moment, like I had a red tablecloth here before, the moment that that red tablecloth left and all the other red stuff left, he started having troubles with the water heater, the air conditioning, etc., or on his side of the apartment. So these things matter. And I will also add, I have done some studies in feng shui in light of this. So my room in particular is located in a very precarious area where I'm constantly getting bombarded by energies in my sleep. On top of that, I'm also, back then, I was studying a lot, so I had trouble sleeping. There was a lot of stuff going on just because, by sheer virtue of where my room was located and the natural energetic habits or energetic tendencies of my room, of my space. So, what I ended up doing was I used the studies that I had in feng shui to move my room around so that way I'm not feeling drained. I'm not feeling overwhelmed by all this other stuff. It's still not great, but it's way better than it was. I literally felt things snap into place as I was rearranging my room, which that goes back for those of you who practice chaos magic or social magic. Moving your stuff around in your room is a form of, I guess you can consider it a hypersigil, I believe. I think, yeah. And through the arrangement of your room, it acts as a conduit for stuff to happen. So, with that being said, that's what happened whenever I was handling my room. Now, I had recommended to my friend who I'm mentoring to do an energy reading of his space before he cleans and after. Partially so we can figure out some other stuff, but also just a litmus test and see how energies, or elemental energy specifically, flow within a space. I actually did a short reading here um, before I did this video of the kitchen and the living room behind me, specifically so that you guys can kind of see um, how this might work and what you could, how you can glean information from an astrological or geomantic sense, geomantic framework. So well, here is, I used 4 dice, and you can find this information. I'm going to post a link into the description to Sam Block's site, the Digital Ambler, which he lays it all out, so you guys can rely on his work. D4, which is related to I think is a tetrahedron, related to the element of fire. D8, I think it's an octahedron, which is related to the element of air. D20, I'm not, I'm gonna lie, last of it's actually a dodecahedron, which is 20-sided dice related to water, the element water, and then a 6-sided dice, which is related, a simple cube, which is related to the sphere of earth, or the element earth. So what I did was I rolled this dice once. Usually for a geomancy reading, full geomancy reading, if you're throwing a chart, you do it 4 times. This time I only needed 1. And that was the intention. And what I did was I articulated my intention specifically. I want to know the energetic, elemental energetic temperament of this room. And for each line, you have either passive or active. So passive, matter of fact, I'm going to write this out further so you know: fire, air, water, earth. this figure is associated with Sagittarius and is called acquisitio, which means gain. So this means that the fiery energies in these two rooms specifically are muted. The air energies are active, the water energies are passive, the earth energies are active, which makes sense. This is a good place. Gotta fix the, probably not, oh well. It makes sense because this is a very communal space, you know, just for talking high and by, but it's not very conducive to emotional and actually talking about emotional matters. There are a couple of reasons for that, and even my playing card, Geomancy variation of the readings show that. Secondly, it also shows that earthy matters reign in these two rooms. Particularly here in the kitchen, of course, you make food. I mean, even here, I have flowers here from graduation. So, even these flowers are earth. I have a green wall scroll behind me, or behind this, or a tapestry hanging on the wall with flowers. Earth. We have plants, and we handle plants within the sunroom and the living room, actually, even though I focus primarily on the living room. It's also in the living room. We handle plants within the living room as well. Earth. There's a lot of earthiness in this room. The couch is brown, for Pete's sake. Earth everywhere. The couch is brown. This table's made of wood. We have a lot of earth in these two spaces. So that tells me, which is something, like I said, this came up in the previous reading when I first moved in, that earth was a predominant energy here, which does amplify issues of fire wherever it is located. So this is an interesting dynamic, or energetic, or elemental dynamic. So with that being said, I'm about to do another experiment, which I will post on Steemit a little later, on my own room. Now that I have an opportunity to reset some things since I'm here. And I'm going to do a little compare and contrast before I do the changes within my room, and then after. And I'm also going to use playing cards as a geomantic method, which may resonate slightly differently than using a dice method. So with that being said, that's all that I'm going to share today. And if there's anything else that I can help with, or if you would like to see a particular video for something else, please do not hesitate to make comments below or whatever. All right. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye.